Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just happened to be in a town hall yesterday, and it came up about natural gas, and you hear different stories. But, you know, as our economy limps along at 2 or 3%, we're going backwards in theory. We need to find a way to move at 4 or 5%. In my mind, like we did in the 90s, I think a lot of that was technology-driven. My sense of it is natural gas could be that silver bullet in terms of an opportunity going forward. But I do want to get your thoughts on some of this in terms of the bigger picture. So let me start with you, Ms. Ladislaw. What, in terms of looking at it in the bigger picture, how much in terms of reserves do we have in the country? I hear different numbers. I don't know there's an exact number, but I hear 100 years. Is that a possibility? And I guess it probably depends on technology and getting at it environmentally sensitive, getting at it from an environmentally sensitive standpoint. But what's your thought on that issue in terms of the reserves we have in the U.S., and then maybe you can comment on Canada as well.
Yeah, I'm going to try really hard not to get wonky on you too fast, but, you know, reserves...
Just in general, because I got a few other questions. I'm trying to get the big picture in about 5 minutes.
The long story short, in about 5 years, we've discovered we've got a heck of a lot of gas. The best price control we've got is...
Is that 100 years? Have you heard that?
Yeah, so if you take sort of... There's reserves, which we've got, you know, I think the number is now up to sort of 300 TCF or so. If you look at sort of total in-place resources, it's about 700. When you look at some of the
700 what?
700 trillion cubic feet.
Okay.
So when you look at sort of the more sort of outward sized numbers about where we could produce what's in the ground, maybe not economic today, but could be in the future, the numbers get shocking.
Okay.
They're very,
so let's just say there's 100 years possibly, or
Sure.
somewhere in that ballpark, maybe more. How big is the market potential in the U.S. and abroad? I mean, I'm just trying to get your sense of it, and if you can distill it down, I'd appreciate it.
The market potential in the United States is very large. It's really only sort of constrained by how much we're growing, right? We're not growing as fast as a lot of other places in the world.
But when you look at the U.S. and abroad, how big is that market potential? Do you have, I don't know, I know you don't probably have a number, an absolute number. I'm just trying to get a sense from your standpoint.
Well, natural gas is one of the fastest growing fuels out there, right? So, for example, one of the big questions now is if you've got all of these gas supplies and you've got China growing the way that they do with the dependence on coal that they do have, and India and some other places around the world, the question is how much of that can be displaced by this natural gas.
From a competitive standpoint, in terms of other countries, in terms of trade, how many competitors do we have that are serious competitors in terms of natural gas?
For consumption?
Yeah.
Probably a handful of regions.
Ms. Hawkley, I just wanted to get very impressive, just kind of the numbers you went through. I haven't heard those numbers, but I'm from Florida. We have 14 ports in Florida, so we'd like to get some of that business at some point. But let me just, what's your thoughts on it? I mean, what's your understanding how big the reserves are, how big the market is? You touched on it, and you mainly talked about Texas, but it's impressive the number of jobs, but I'm just thinking in terms of the country, the opportunities there.
Thank you. Yes, I agree with your number, your out number. That's what we hear as well. 100 years is a pretty good benchmark, and I think that's conservative from what we're hearing. Your question was, whom are the consumers of this?
No, I was looking at who are our competitors of our companies abroad. I mean, is this something where we've got the momentum and we could really be a dominant player in the world?
Absolutely.
That's what my sense of it is, but I think it could be a huge advantage that we could have, you know, in the next decade or so.
I think the timing is absolutely critical to this play, and I think you hit on an excellent point, because right now we are underway with a number of these LNG facilities. They've invested, you know, millions and millions of dollars of getting to this point, so they're really sitting in the catbird seat to be able to capture this export market. And being able to do that, they're already ahead of the competing countries that will be developing their own LNG. That supports the manufacturing here in the United States. It also supports the natural gas does, the LNG supports the manufacturing among our allies. And there's an enormous price advantage right now, a little bit of a differential between Asia and Europe in being able to export that. But that is maintained at this point in the market because we have this abundant natural gas. So to specifically answer your question, yes, this is the moment. These are the few years, and the quicker we can expedite going through a very thorough permitting process, but making sure that we expedite
I guess my point,
we're there.
I'll just say quickly, it just seems like the time is now. It's a great opportunity. It's environmentally friendlier than, you know, what's available out there today. And I think we've got a jump start on it. I think it can make the difference in our economy growing. We need to get back to 4 and 5%. And I think moving forward in a positive energy basis, I think it's a huge opportunity, not just with our market, but in terms of exports. I don't know.
Gentleman's time
Okay.
has
I'll yield
expired.
back.